that one was for you. And now, the original, the incredible, the amazing 2001. Like I was saying, not going to sound anything like it does on the record. You can tell I don't have a hip-hop drum set behind me. But hopefully it's something unique and enjoyable for everybody. Let me just tune my thumb piano here. That was a joke for any of you thumb pianists out there. Talk to was a friend. Oh my God, how sad life was in the year 2001. I tell you back then they didn't have a word for fun. No Facebook, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Uber, or no Instagram. Even had to go outdoors if you wanted to get a tan. It was all so happy and pretty and young, no didn't stand a chance. When the darkness that lives within us so big they strain their eyes, yeah, they all got cataracts. Serve them right, those candles weren't vegan, no, they were made of beeswax. A rooted man with still weights and this is all they had. I saw Euclid, Reagan, skyscrapers with a compass and a pad. Then the two of them fell, went to hell in a handbasket real fast. That's why we hear about 2000. Oh, the president! How did we get to where we are today? I don't know. That's how we'll die. And if we survive all the yesterdays, if the things weren't like they are now. Everybody clap along at home. That's a warm up. It all goes so fast these days. Maybe we need to take some time to chill. Seems like the 50s were the Stone Age, and the Great Depression is when they had Jesus killed. It's hard to believe it took us as long to get to where we are, but we've come so far. How did we get to where we are today? I don't know. This all about. How did we survive all the yesterdays if the things weren't like they are now? Everybody? How did we get to where we are today? I don't know. This all about. How did we survive all the yesterdays if the things weren't like they are now? I will avow. How did we survive all the yesterdays if before things weren't like they are now? How did we get to where we are today? I don't know. This I will avow. How did we survive all the yesterdays if before things weren't like they are now? Thank you. Thank you very much. That was 2001, the live edition. The live solo edition, I might add. Very different from the live not solo, and very different from the recording. But that's the magical thing about songs, in my opinion, is that they're alive. They're not just one thing done the exact same way every single time that you do it, every single time that you hear it. They change and they're fluid, but they've got this essence that they maintain throughout it. Kind of like a person as they go through their life. Now this next song something no one's ever probably heard before, but oh my gosh, that was a very strange sound behind it. But it features this same instrument, and before I get into it, I'm going to talk a little bit about this. This is the Imbira. Of course, that's with my Texan accent, and if I was saying it properly, I would say Imbira, because you got to roll those R's if you're going to go anywhere outside of, the U.S., I guess. It is the Imbira Zavazimu, which means the great Imbira of the ancestors in Shona. Shona is the language used by the Shona people who live mostly in Zimbabwe nowadays. And this is an instrument that is from their tradition and that they use in their traditional music. And it's one of my favorites of all time. I've been studying it for about 5 years, ever since, I've been listening to music for 7 or 8 years, but I first actually started playing this instrument about 5 years ago, kind of right after I got out of college. And it was one of the greatest things ever. I always come back to it because it's just got this magical kind of sound, which is ironic because the first time that anybody ever talked about this instrument to me, they said, when you hear it, you will think that it is tiny angels playing a piano or something like that, is what they said. And everyone was like, oh, okay. And then they played it, and everybody in the class was just dumbfounded. And I pursued it. I read books about it. I found transcriptions of the music. I got myself an instrument, and I've just fallen in love with it. And I've tried to use it in my music in a way that's somewhat faithful to the original tradition, which is where you've kind of got two different parts that overlap with each other and create this almost hypnotic, fluid sound effect to it. And they're usually kind of repetitive parts that can be similar or different, but they interlock in a certain way. And they create this foundation for whatever the lyrics are doing, if there are lyrics. And the lyrics can be telling a story, they can be delivering news, they can be a song, they can be completely improvised on the spot. But a lot of the times they're kind of like social commentary is something that happens a lot. And well, that's what 2001 is. It's all about I don't know, getting rid of the ego when it comes to history, and not trying to ever shape it to your own ends, because history and the present and the future are all way too complex for any one person or any one group to try and make it theirs. And I like the idea of minimizing oneself, you could say, and stepping back and appreciating the complexity for what it is. Incredibly complex, and not something that you can pick apart and claim that it's got some specific meaning or another. But life is just crazy, as we all have recently experienced. So just enjoy the ride and be mesmerized.